What is up, everybody? Welcome to PCP Movie Night here on Pop Culture Philosophers Station. Pop, pop, boom. And tonight we're talking about a booming movie. It was one of the top 10 highest grossing films of 1990. It was a huge deal. It was all over the place. And then it's like nobody ever talks about it, ever. Now, I am obsessed with comic book films adapted from comic strips and comic books from the 90s. And I always go over my lists and this and that. We did a whole podcast about this, and this one always stands out to me. I'm very excited. It's been forever since I've seen this movie, but tonight we are calling Dick Tracy. That's right. We're talking about 1990s Dick Tracy, produced and directed and starring Warren Beatty, Madonna, Al Pacino, and a host of other amazing performances in an interesting film that I'm ready to get into tonight. So join us. I hope you checked out the film, revisited it. Of course, it's based on the Chester Gould comic strip from back in the day. I've never really read that stuff. This was my first introduction to Dick Tracy. It was 1990. I'm like 9 years old. You know, I'm like prime for this. Those toys, the marketing, it was like at McDonald's, all that stuff. It was dope. Speaking of dope, it's Jelani. What's up, my man? How you doing?
What's up, man? Station. It's good to be here, and of course, we're talking about Dick Tracy, and it's a movie I haven't seen in ages, but I'm glad to be here to talk about it.
Absolutely. And of course, we cannot talk about Dick Tracy without calling upon probably the single biggest Dick Tracy fan I know here on Comics YouTube. It's our good friend and homie, making his PCP Movie Night debut. It's Greg from Bearded Comic Bro.
What is up, man? I'm excited. Holy buckets. We're talking some Dick Tracy tonight. Let's go.
Yeah, we are talking some Dick tonight, y'all. So stay tuned, man. This is really exciting. Speaking of talking Dick, it's Brooks. What's up, man?
Hey.
I figured we get the Dick joke out of the way early on.
You might as well. I mean, because someone's in the chat's going to say it right away.
Yeah.
So,
Rich. Okay. It's Richard. I thought it was Richard Tracy.
I thought it was
his name isn't Dick, dude.
He's a private dick.
A private detective. That's why he's called.
He's a private dick.
Yeah, they used to call him back in the day.
That's right.
How you doing, Brooks?
Richard.
Like the Big Lebowski, you know.
Brooks was supposed to come through and get everybody the right equipment and material so that we could have all done like some kind of elaborate makeup effect for tonight. But Brooks fell through. So
I just didn't want to do it.
All right, we're talking about Dick Tracy. Like I said, 1990, huge deal. Now, it cost them $46 million to make, but they spent like over $50 million in merchandising and promoting the movie, marketing. That's what I meant to say. It was a huge deal. You know, like Madonna at the height of her pop queen status was like, that's like the height of that popularity, right? She's a big deal. She's in the movie. She's promoting it on tour. They got everything. Everything was Dick Tracy. It like took over. It was like 89 was a year of Batman and 90 was Dick Tracy. And those of us that were there, we remember that, you know, and it was wild. And I loved this movie when I was a kid. And I revisited it like in the early 2000s or mid 2000s, something like that. And you know, it was fun. It was nice. And it was something to recollect on and being like, this is one of the best comic book adaptations or comic strip adaptations of the 90s, right? And I hadn't seen it since then. So rewatching this, and I've been itching to rewatch this because I love those toys. I have fond memories of this. So on the rewatch, I still like the movie. There is the nostalgia tinge. First of all, it looks gorgeous. It is absolutely beautiful. I love most of the performances. I think Madonna is this was wrong. It was the right time, but it was the wrong person to put in that role, in my opinion. And you know me, I'm a huge Madonna fan. Okay, so I love that she's in the movie, but this movie is bolstered by like Al Pacino in particular, all of the villains, the makeup effects on them, just the way it's shot, the matte paintings. Wow. This movie is a visual treat. It is long and tedious though sometimes, right? It feels too long for how short of a movie it is. but I still overall really enjoy this film and definitely think we deserve like a top-notch 2-disc, 3-disc special edition Blu-ray for this. And also that Danny Elfman score, not too bad, if not derivative of himself.
Yeah.
What do you think about the film overall, Jelani, on the revisit, man, and any recollection from back in the day?
Yeah, man. Like I said, I didn't watch it. Last time I watched this, I was like 12. I was a kid, baby children, and like I loved it back then. Like my parents at first didn't want to take me to see it because they thought it was too violent. And I finally talked my cousin into taking me watch it, and I enjoyed it thoroughly as a child. I loved it, and I've seen like snippets of it over the years, of course. And I always have fond memories of it. On this rewatch, I liked it as well. It is a little too long for what it's supposed to be. It's like an hour and 45 minutes. So like that's a little long for like a comic book movie. Just go ahead and do me, 130. You can shave off some of that, like cut out a montage or two.
Those montages go on a bit fucking long.
Yeah,
it's
really
like
long.
It's prophetic of CW TV shows,
right?
Like with the excessive use of montage.
Like it's a little bit, but it's gorgeous.
But I kind of like it though.
It's fine. It's fine because it's so pretty to look at. It's like 1930s, like in the middle of like gang wars and gambling and whatever they were trying to accomplish in the 30s. I don't know because I wasn't there. But it has that feel. The sets are amazing. The music is done by Stephen Sondheim as well. I think he won an Academy Award for something from this.
Yep.
I can't. Yeah.
Did they win that?
He won Best Original Song for
he
Sooner
wrote
or Later.
Yeah, because he writes the songs that Breathless sings, right?
Yeah. Right. Yep. All the songs.
They're good songs, man. But that is
and Mandy Patinkin's in it. I forgot he was 88 Keys. He's the dude. It's Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. I was like, oh, it's Inigo Montoya. And he's great.
Is he the piano player?
He's
the piano player.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, he's like, and I love the duet that he and Madonna have. It's really like really good. Like I forget Mandy Patinkin's like a stage actor and like he sings like that all the time. So it was really cool to see that. They're like really nice scenes. I like the kid in this. He's not annoying. I can't believe it. Yeah. There's some.
Brooks was telling me yesterday. He's like, I bet he hates the kid.
I like the kid, and it's
Jelani historically hates all kids in cinema.
Yep. Started with Short Round.
It's not hard to do because they usually bring down the movie.
Yeah, they suck. My God is going to kick
I think that to cut a lot of kids subplot out of this movie would be like a lot better.
I mean, we'll get into it, but because I know it's somebody's favorite. It's got to be somebody's favorite. I don't know, but I like that kid, and it's just surprising that this movie, like it kind of holds up. It really does. I like Madonna in some certain parts of it. As Breathless, she's a femme fatale, and she has that demeanor and thing, but it all ties in to everything. I love all the I like a good bit of the characters.
All the bad guys, every single
all
one of the
bad guys was awesome. So I mean, and of course the chewing up scenery of freaking Pacino. It's
the bad guys are so memorable. If you really look at that toy line,
yeah.
Dick Tracy's the only hero.
He's
like
everyone bad guys. Everybody. But yeah, overall I really enjoyed it.
Hell yeah.
And I really, I wouldn't mind watching it again.
Nice. Bearded, what about you, man? What'd you feel like on the revisit? And obviously you have a history with this film.
I do. So because 1990, I was 5. It's the first movie I remember seen in theaters. I guarantee it wasn't the first movie I saw, but it's the first one I have visual memories of, like vivid memories of seeing it, because I wasn't allowed to see Batman in '89 because I was 4. Like my parents were like, no, but we'll let you see Dick Tracy, which going back on the rewatch was like, Madonna. I'm like, I don't know if mom was real happy that.
And it's a Disney film.
Showed her naked.
It's
Yeah,
crazy. It's
but
the
they
Disney
released it.
film.
They released it under the Touchstone banner because
Right.
they felt it was a little too racy.
That's what they did. They did that with Nightmare on Elm Street or Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare Before Christmas, and a bunch of yeah, you're right.
Yep.
But yeah, that's crazy because this is on the watch. I was like, yo, this is rather sexual,
Right?
And they-
A lot of innuendos. I mean, you see
She was
through
wearing
that dress.
she's basically topless. She's wearing
She
that
is.
necklace. It's like, what the crap is
Remember,
this?
this is the era of Truth or Dare, Madonna.
Yeah.
Okay, and Justify
No, I
My
mean,
Love and all that shit. You
They
know,
put that on screen for us to watch as children. I forgot all about it until I saw it again. I was like, I did see that. I didn't know what to do with it as a kid.
I mean, as a 5-year-old kid, it didn't bother me. You know, like you're like whatever. Like, so my
You're like,
parents were probably like,
"Dames,
that was a
what can
right
you
age
do?"
to see.
Yeah, exactly.
But like it, because of that movie, you know, I was buying about all the toys. I had not the wallpaper, but you know, like the room border that you could used to get, like where you just wallpaper like the top part of your room. I had the Dick Tracy banner of that, Dick Tracy comfort. I mean, I had everything, and I still have it all. And it just, I mean, growing up, seeing that, I got into the comics because of this movie, of going back and reading the Chester Gould, you know, cartoon strips and comic strips from the newspapers, and, you know, my grandma cutting them out and sending them to me. And I had anything that was possibly yellow in my room for being Dick Tracy. And it was everything I wanted as a kid in a movie. So I revisit it often. You know, as I get memorabilia, and that was one of the first movies I made my wife watch with me, of like, all right, listen, like if you hate this, just lie to me, because like, like this is nostalgic childhood for me. And
was this like a test? You're like, okay, before, like the night before the wedding, 2 nights, a week before, you're like, okay, watch
right.
this movie.
Yep.
And this
I'm
is the
just
final test.
I'm watching her the whole time, like, what is like, is she crying? Is she faking? Is this okay?
Why didn't she smirk?
How much are her pupils dilated?
Why didn't she laugh when he said suck an egg?
Yeah.
I love the sucking egg part. I love the dialogue in this movie. It's like Frank Miller wrote this fucking movie, man.
Exactly.
It's like, for real. I was actually getting very much Sin City, Frank Miller, like the Spirit kind of vibes from this movie.
Well,
a
I mean,
comic
but you
strip.
think about it, you know, the Spirit, you know, was written around that same time. Was that Will Eisner?
Yeah.
Yep. Was around the same time Chester Gould did that, you know, was doing that, the noir style, you know, comic strips and stuff like that. But I mean, this, you've got to talked about it being, you know, just a visual masterpiece of, you know, it was the second comic book themed movie to win Oscars. Like, and that's where, like, Robbie, you said, like, it's crazy that no one's talking about it as much as, you know, it was nominated for 7 Oscars and won 3.
Al Pacino was nominated for this fucking movie.
The first time, like, that's ever happened, like, that someone above, like, the top billing, you know, kind of like the Oscar awards for a comic book movie. And I went back and rewatched this because I watch it on the regular, but I went back this week to watch it with a kind of trying to look at it from a non-nostalgic eye, and man, I can't do it because I still loved it. And y'all were talking about, like, oh, it's too long. They're like, Beatty has come out in the interviews where he's like, I had it at 2 hours and 15 minutes and they made me cut it.
Well, maybe that pace is better for it. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, maybe that, like, provides a different pace to it, because the movie is like, it's really fast at certain times and then it slows up at other times. Just a little bit.
So,
Just
I mean, if you guys start to see the, you know, release the Beatty cut, you know who started.
And he even said he'd be down to do another one. Maybe we can get like Old Man Tracy.
Yeah,
Let's
Old
do
Man
it.
Tracy.
I'm in. I'm there.
The kids all grown up.
Old man Dick.
Speaking of Old Man Dick, Brooks, what do you think about the film, man?
I liked it. I liked it pretty well. I remember this movie back when I was a kid too, because I was really into, like, you know, especially newspaper comic strips and stuff back then. Like, but we didn't have Dick Tracy in our papers. Like, I remember we had like the Phantom and Prince Valiant and those kind of, like, you know, more comic book superhero kind of comic strip. You know, the non-humorous stuff.
And always that bullshit family circus waiting to ruin it all at the end of the page.
Like, oh boy, I get to follow this dotted line around.
You're like, I don't fucking get it.
Fucking love that.
We didn't have Dick Tracy though. You're right.
No, yeah, we never did. So I never actually read the strip, but as a kid, I saw the movie and like I knew what it was from, so I was excited about it, and I remember liking it as a kid too. And the thing I remember most was the McDonald's promotion with the wanted posters, and you tried to get the correct felon on your little scratch off ticket or whatever.
Oh my
To
God.
win a prize.
You just unlocked a fucking buttload of memories. Hold on.
Yeah, I remember
overload.
Like I got scratched off. I'm like, you need to take me to McDonald's right now. My parents are like, fine, we'll take you to McDonald's on the way to church or something.
You don't
like
understand.
That,
I just got a free cone.
I need to bring Prune Face in.
Yeah.
I can collect the bounty on him. It's a free Happy Meal.
Yeah, I used to love those promotions, man, and I do remember the McDonald's ones, man, and all the toys and yeah, you're right, Jorm. Who did not want the radio wristwatch? And they had the toy version.
I had it. Yeah, I had it. It was fun. It was like, dude, yeah, that one.
Oh,
that
yeah,
exact one. That one.
Look at that card. It's crisp.
Yeah, it is. Very nice. Very nice.
They also had the like actual walkie-talkie one that was all black, and it was like this bulky of a thing and it had the antenna, so you could actually use it as a walkie-talkie on your wrist. But like it weighed like 10 pounds.
Kids broke their fucking wrist carrying that around.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, like we've already alluded to this, but one of the reasons why this movie really stands out is that cast. I think the cast is absolutely tremendous. The way that each of these characters come to life, even people that have the smallest roles, like say James Caan, were fucking awesome in this movie, right? And I almost got the sense that James Caan was like, I was in The Godfather. I'm not going to wear this shit. And Al Pacino's like, I'm going to wear it. Come on. I'm going to wear it. James Caan's like, give me a funny mustache. They're like, you got me for an afternoon. Anyway,
Yeah.
What's a character or performance you want to highlight, Jelani?
Yeah, I'm going to take a good one. Yeah, I'm taking Pacino. Because Big Boy was awesome. He like I said before, he chews up all of the scenery. Like, this is kidnapping. Oh, yeah. I didn't kidnap you, but now I'm kidnapping you.
I want him dead.
I'm dead. I want Tracy dead.
He's going,
just like,
he's on an 11 the entire time,
he
bro.
knows,
there's no
he
chill.
knows what he's doing. Like, he's like producing this dance number with Madonna and the dancer, and like he's dancing and knows the song, and we've been working till 2 a.m. And he's just like nuts in this movie, and it is so beautiful to watch because I don't remember him being this over the top, but now, yeah, it sticks out like a sore thumb, and it's awesome. He's not my number one choice, but I like Pacino a lot.
Yeah,
he's a very close. My number one. Well, we won't talk about it. I'm not taking.
Yeah,
anybody's
you
stuff.
already went, Jelani. Okay,
I'm not taking anybody's stuff.
Okay.
I backed off.
Al Pacino's probably my favorite. Like, just
he's nuts.
He rules the movie. It's like, why do you love Masters of the Universe so much? Well, Frank Langella's Skeletor. You could like apply that same logic here. It's like he steals the show. I've heard it compared a lot to Jack Nicholson's performance as the Joker, which obviously this film is easily comparable to that Batman film, but it is its own aesthetic, and it's so rooted in that film noir, like 30s, 40s kind of vibe and timeless and stuff. I did see on Oliver Harper's YouTube channel, fucking does amazing retrospectives on like 80s and 80s films mostly. And he had mentioned that, well, we should get more to this towards production design, I guess, but like the streets feel too empty sometimes. Like it's not a populated world, but I want to look back at those strips and see if that's something that's like inherent in the strips, right? Like only the characters that are necessary are there or something. But I know that Fantagraphics did a big hardcover collection of all those strips. A bunch of those are out of print, so they're a little bit more expensive, but I've been wanting to find the first few volumes and kind of dive into that. Bearded, what you got, man? What's a performance you want to highlight?
a lot of the old, I mean, if you want to even just dig into for a cheaper route, going in and getting any of the comic books, I think Harvey released them and stuff. They literally, all the original comic books are just the reprintings of the strips in comic book form.
Oh, nice.
And so you can get a lot of those super cheap. How they did that. I mean, Big Boy, how can you not say Big Boy? So I'm going to move on from that because, I mean, dude is like, he's getting arrested and he's like getting moved out. He's like, this doesn't mean rehearsal's over still.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that-
yeah. He's still on it. He wants that glove to be hot.
It's, I mean,
It's gonna be perfect.
I get it. Like, I'm still shocked that like he was nominated for, because like it just is so over the top. It doesn't feel like an Oscar-worthy performance, even though it was great.
yeah.
Man, I'm gonna go with 88 Keys. I dig 88 Keys, and like it's an off-the-wall choice for me because there wasn't an action figure of 88 Keys. You know, there wasn't. But I think I've loved it more with it, you know, knowing like going back and watching Princess Bride and Inigo Montoya, and like I discovered like, you know, most people are like, oh, I forgot he's 88 Keys. I'm like, I was the reverse. I'm like, oh, Inigo Montoya's 88 Keys. Like that's how I got exposed to it. And he's just, I mean, he'd probably be my favorite performance if it wasn't for that stupid laugh he does halfway through the movie where where Big Boy takes the plan from the blank and he's sitting in the boardroom there and he just has the most over the top, like he sounds like Mumbles laughing, but it's not. It's 88 Keys. It's like, bro, that's it's rough. But he, you know, the singing, the performance that he does, you know, the duet like that you mentioned with Madonna earlier, he's one of those characters that is a vital part of the movie, but you know, with the relationship with Madonna and the blank and, you know, Big Boy. But I think he often gets overlooked because he isn't one of the characters, you know, all these villains that are in the movie, a lot of them are in there for 30 seconds, you know, like all the very opening scene, you got Littleface. Yeah.
Littleface.
Brow,
within the first few minutes of the movie.
And they're gone, which is probably they probably had to do that because if you look at the makeup of the process of, and I mean, I did, you want to talk about a book that I tore up as a kid, like this was the making of Dick Tracy.
Oh, nice.
Movie. And I mean, they show panels of like where the guy who played Littleface, you can see his body. They bring in like these big old shoulder piece harnesses. He looks like a freaking like Inspector Gadget toy from Happy Meal that McDonald's did, where you had to piece them together, the huge shoulders and the big.
It reminds me of this. There's this Full Moon Empire Pictures production called Head of the Class, which is big ass dude with this big ass fucking head and like a little tiny face in there. Oh my god, that shit. Some of it's scary, like especially for kids, man.
Yeah, prune face and freaking, you know, like dude looked ugly.
He really did.
Yeah,
I was trying to remember that dude's name, like his real name. I should probably just.
Which one?
Prune Face, because I know that guy, but I couldn't tell from all the makeup who he was.
It's R.G. Armstrong.
R.G. Armstrong.
He was in a bunch of the Sam Peckinpah stuff back in the day.
Yeah, he's very southern.
If you, I don't know how like realistic these like movie fact trivia stuff were, but they actually wanted Ronald Reagan to play Prune Face.
That'd have been funny, but actually, he was like, you know, 8 years being president, I'm a little tired.
And he had a lot of dementia.
Ate too many jelly beans. Ate too many jelly beans. Hell yeah. That's a really good pick, man. That's the best song, I think, involving Madonna. I think some of the songs are written very well, but like being a Madonna fan, I just don't think her strength is that kind of sultry, like noir, femme fatale singer, you know? Like we've seen done so well in some of those old, it just, I don't know, something about it doesn't quite work for me, but it's so weird that the one thing I'm really super critical about of this movie is Madonna, who I'm like the biggest fucking fan of.
You are.
Perhaps it's because you're such a big fan.
Maybe I just expected more out of her. You know what I'm saying? What about you, Brooks? What's character you want to highlight?
Well, I was actually kind of surprised that I actually ended up liking this character because I didn't remember from my viewing as a kid, but it was Tess, the girlfriend.
Hell,
like when I first started watching the movie, like, you know, she's all like, typical girlfriend shit, like, oh, Dick Tracy, you're the best. But then, so I was like, oh, this character's gonna be insufferable. But then
You're just like that
later
kid.
on,
You're like, I don't like dames.
yeah, neither do I.
I like this dame.
That's what that was the turnaround. Like, oh, and then like she's a little more, complex. And I like how she's independent. She's like, I like to live alone, and she's not gonna give Tracy an easy out. Like, it's like, you got something to say to me, and say it, bud. So yeah, I was quite surprised.
Yeah, and that's the big point of the movie is the story between her and Dick Tracy, right? Like, that's something that I found rather charming and endearing about the movie is that there is this interesting story going on about Dick Tracy kind of allowing himself to commit to love, and
he's like this big tough guy, like, he's out there busting criminals, but like he can't tell his girlfriend that he wants to move in with her, or if he wants her to move in with him. Like, he just can't do it.
He just hands the ring over. He's like, I gotta go.
Like, you gotta bust some crime. Here, take this.
Yeah, but come on, that's the most boss move right there. After he stumbles over the line, to then just be like,
well, I love it because it's a true partner. It's going to be, it's the perfect soulmate for him because she accepts at that point his duty, like who he is and his mission, and he accepts hers.
No desk job. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we'll get to this all in thematic material later on. So we don't need to jump the gun, Robbie. Yeah, we're not quite there yet. All right. For me, like I said, it was Al Pacino. That's my favorite. Warren Beatty, I think, does a good job in the film, for real. I think he does a great job of just kind of being like relatable and charming. The kid is really good. It's the kid from fucking Hook.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I like Jack. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Dustin Hoffman is Mumbles.
Also from Hook, right?
Yeah, also from Hook. The interrogation scene. Like, it's so fucking ridiculous. And also William Forsythe is Flat Top. Flat Top is very menacing in the film, and I really regret I don't have a Mumbles or a Flat Top figure. And the other one I will highlight real quick. God damn it, I forgot it. What was it? Mumbles, Flat Top, and Paul Sorvino as Lips. You only get him at the beginning. I love his action figure because he comes with little cement boots.
Yes.
Yeah.
And but just how gross he is when he eats those oysters, like, and I'm like, is that what I look like when I eat oysters? Because I fucking could eat like 80 of those things probably. Style and structure. This movie is filled with style, and I think I think most of its problems are maybe in its structure. Jelani, what do you think? What do you think? Style, structure. We're talking about cinematography. We're talking about the writing, all of it in one package, special effects and all that stuff too. What do you think, Jelani?
Well, it's a well done film. It's like you're in a comic strip. I liked how all the backgrounds, just everything looks. The aesthetic is very pleasing, and it goes along with the story. Like you're in the comic and you're learning it, and it has that Sin City vibe. Like it's supposed to. Sin City, I think, is the best kind of adaptation of what you want to have on the screen for a comic book.
Like Robert Rodriguez and Frank Miller basically did what Warren Beatty was doing, but they had the benefit of being able to do it on a green screen.
Right? On green screen where you can actually put that stuff up there. This was matte paintings, I'm sure. I mean, it's a lot of matte. So they did a great job with what they had. And it tells the story very well. And it's typical. It's like, Big Boy wants to take over the city. Dick Tracy's there to stop him. Big Boy wants to stop him now. He finds this kid, which I thought when I first watched this again, because it's been so many years, I didn't remember the story, but I thought the kid was like going to be a witness and they had to protect the kid after this part. I don't know why I thought that was the case, because I thought they were going to be always after the kid for this. Why are you mixing up the
plots? Why are you mixing up the storylines between the kid and Breathless? That's a little weird.
I don't know.
It's weird.
No, I thought he was the witness because he saw Flat Top kill the card table at the beginning. Yeah. And they were like, and Flat Top was like, I gotta kill him now, but he just stopped and just started shooting the wall. I loved it. But I love the villains in this movie, the way they're shot. Especially, we were going back to Littleface, where it's just the Littleface shot in these lights I don't know. The lighting is just so creepy. He's just such a creepy thing to watch.
Yeah, their use of those primary colors, man,
it's
is like absolutely fantastic.
Yellow, red, blue, and it's so strong, and it's throughout the film. Like I said, it's just like a comic book or a comic strip, and it tells it so very well. Yeah, it's still too long for me. I mean, some about me and like certain films, like they're really good films that I'm like, I could watch like 3 hours of this. I'm not going above 4 because Justice League's trash, but you can't go, I can't go past 4 in one sitting unless it's really awesome. Once Upon a Time in America, I'll do it. You know what I'm saying? It's a commitment, but I'll do it. But there's a certain length that you need to go to. Like this should have been like an hour and a half, hour 25. And you get the same punch. You get the same punch, but
I think it could have been maybe if they were going to edit it down, it could have been trimmed up a little bit better. It almost feels like it's like we're rushing this release. We committed to this release. Obviously, it's probably difficult to put together. They probably cut this down quickly because it does feel uneven in its cut.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying
it's not bad though.
I'm not saying the runtime is too long. The runtime would be fine for this movie, but it's weird because it's so quickly paced in certain moments and then so like drawn out in other moments. It's weird. Yeah. So it doesn't ever find a footing. Maybe a longer cut does even that out. Maybe it's not necessarily that they need to cut it more. Yeah. Maybe the cuts were to the detriment of some of the pace of the film. You never know, right?
That's
because
true.
We've talked about 3-hour movies that are paced expertly well. Seven Samurai is one of those, you know? So not saying that Dick Tracy is the Seven Samurai of 1990, but well, Greg might think so. Greg, what do you think about the style, the structure, the special effects in the film? This is the S section.
I mean, everything that you all have talked about so far, the color scheme in this movie, you know, it's every single, they literally just took the paint bucket of every color and just splashed it onto the movie screen. And it shouldn't work, but it makes it feel so much like a comic book, which I don't know why it does from that aspect, because there aren't a lot of comic books that are like that. I feel like are all bright primary colors, you know, even in the 90s, but like, you know,
well, back in the day they were, right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it's really painting that picture.
But I mean, even the sets though, right? Like you have a green floor with then like a red staircase, and it looks just so bold, and it stands out really well. But then, like you said, the painting aspect of it feels like you're watching an actual comic book kind of come to life. And I mean, the makeup aspect of the characters is phenomenal for a 1990s movie, and for all the unique stuff that they did, right? With every single villain's face of, you know, rodent. We didn't even talk about little face, brow, prune face, flat top's head, you know, like that freaking have to build it up to then put hair on it, and itchy and influence, and like all of them, like they're all just over the top makeup, but it's done so freaking well. And I'd be interesting to see what they cut from the movie, right? Like you talking about like the pacing is, because it feels like it's a lot of setup to show how good Dick Tracy is of a person and how incorruptible he is, to then corrupt him, to then get to the end. Like that kind of feels like a little later and too late in the movie to have that kind of twist a little bit more. But
yeah,
so I think they set up a lot longer, you know, and I wonder of like how much is it of Warren Beatty's throwing everything into this movie because he doesn't know if he's getting a sequel, right? Like, I'm going to get every freaking villain that there is possibly in the world.
Yeah. It's incredibly ambitious.
Yeah. And it fits really well for me of, you know, the pacing. I can see that rewatching it, trying to watch it from a critical eye. It feels off, you know, and I think that, you know, that's why I'd love to see what was left on the cutting room floor, because I feel like that could be cleaned up in a way. But I mean, it is something that I want to, you know, I want to experience that city and that town and that world And it is interesting to see. I think Robbie, you said earlier, like there's not a lot of like pedestrians on the street or other cars. It is an empty town, and it's has to be because of how it was shot that it was probably just they couldn't get this shots in there with the matte.
Like, we're already over budget. We don't need to buy like 30 cars from the 20s. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hire all the extras. Feed them some chicken fingers. Some sandwich.
I mean, it takes me back. I think it was MGM Studios that had Disney World MGM Studios, which is now Hollywood Studios, that had the Dick Tracy section in their town at the theme park where
they had a musical going on, right?
Was it? I know they had
I think there was one at Disneyland. There was like while the movie was out, there was like a musical that they would do, like a staged musical. Which
I know this one at Hollywood Studio MGM Studios was. It was in the kind of like the old, like the town part of the, and they had the villain mugshot. What is it? The size chart where you could get your picture taken in front of like, where you are on the, criminal background. And they had the cop cars that would come up and all the characters in the bright colors. It feels like it's a fun movie that I think the art and the makeup make up for any flaws when it comes to like, okay, maybe it wasn't the best written story. But I think the performances and the art piece of the movie carry it, that I'm like, it holds up. It still holds up well for me. And I know I watch it with nostalgia glasses. There's no way separating that. But
that's the only way to watch this shit, man.
Yeah.
Kids today would watch it and be like, what the fuck? Is this movie trying to be ironic? Speaking of irony, Brooks, what do you think about the film? Style, structure, special effects.
I think it's probably one of the best aspects of the film because it manages to get that, the comic strip, bright colors and, dude wearing a yellow trench coat and hat, but is still somehow cool. At the same time, kind of getting the grimy crime noir feel too, especially with how the villains all have their little deformities, I guess you'd say, with like every bad guy has to have like some kind of weird fucked up facial thing going on,
except for James Caan.
Yeah,
it's in his contract, just a goofy mustache.
Just give me the mustache. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
he's gonna blow me up anyway.
Yeah.
It's something that seems like it shouldn't work on paper, but it does, because it's like a movie that's kind of it's got the crime noir thing, but kids can still enjoy it, even despite all the dames and such.
There were a lot of dames.
What's with all these dames? Trying to watch a movie about Dick Tracy.
Yeah, and it's really kind of him like learning to be a family man, right?
Yeah,
kind of the whole bit. We'll get to themes here in a second, but otherwise, speaking of themes, the music is the score is done by Danny Elfman. He's hot off of the huge success of Batman, so I am sure because it is derivative of some of his work of Batman. Like some of the cues feel like they're like completely lifted from it, But I think that maybe he was probably asked to do that. You get what I'm saying? Or thought that maybe there was like an expectation or something. And then there is the score, which was an album that was released. I'm Breathless, I think is what it is, by Madonna. And was it Stephen Sondheim, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who did Sweeney Todd? The tale of Sweeney Todd. His face was pale. His skin was pale. His face was odd. Anyway, for Sweeney Todd. Anyway, I don't like the Breathless album. I'll be honest. I'm a huge Madonna fan. And when I get to that album in the discography, I usually skip it because, I mean, we want something that sounds soulful when we're like doing these femme fatales. I think Madonna's one of the weak points of the film, to be honest, man. And it bothers me because the one figure I want so much I'll probably never have will be her figure from this movie as the blank, because that is one of the rarest carded action figures ever in existence. And a carded one is several $1,000s. Several $1,000s. And a loose one is several $1,000s. I can't fucking believe it. Someone needs to 3D print me one of these. I don't give a shit.
It's the only figure I don't have, and I don't think I ever will.
It sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Fuck, man.
And it's because of freaking that it was the classic. They love to do those figures with the, with like the Bruce Wayne unmasked action figure, Batman, and they did the same with the Mask of the Phantasm figure. Kenner did with having Andrea Beaumont's character with then the Mask of Phantasm, and so this one actually had the blank, but I think it was the blank's face could come off right, and you saw Madonna.
Yes,
and
it was. I think it's been labeled the first spoiler toy.
Yeah,
and then of course, Phantasm was like probably the second.
They're like, let me hold my beer, Dick Tracy.
And I know that the blank I think had the mask on in the card.
Yes,
but Phantasm did not.
No, on the Phantasm one, it was straight up. I think on the back of the card, it showed her without the mask on.
Gotcha.
I think that's what it. I think the figure came with the blank's face on it.
Yeah.
The blank face.
Like, what? And the weird stretches too, like she's not even using a machine to change her voice, because when she takes it off, she's still talking like, like, what the fuck is that?
Well,
anyway,
but that's what they do. That's what Itchy did the same thing outside Dick Tracy's door, talking as the lady from Child Welfare Services, and then he still does it as he opens the door. And
they're just really good at impersonations, man. It's
Yeah.
okay, right? Yeah. But the music, I do like the Danny Elfman score. It does sound like Batman by way of Flash, his Flash theme. I think Scarpad said that in the PCP Army. He's like, the score does sound like Batman, but to me, it's more like the Flash. And when you watch that old Flash show from the 90s and you listen to that theme, you're like, this sounds like Batman. But I think that's what he was asked to do. But the love theme that's in there does kind of stand out and does feel very like noirish 40s, kind of 30s, like that kind of thing. So what do you think about the music, Jelani?
I liked it. I mean, it wasn't the best. You're right. It's not the best Madonna tracks. But, I mean...
Now, that duet, though, is dope.
That's what I was getting to. I love
the
duet with Mandy Patinkin. And it's really touching. It was very surprising in this movie, because I didn't remember it when I was a kid. But watching it now and seeing them sing so well together, I was like, wow, this duet's perfect. This is very nice in this film. Danny Elfman's stuff is classic Danny Elfman. I did think it was Batman. The first time I heard it, I was like, and the credits were rolling and it was playing. I was like, this is Danny Elfman, isn't it? it showed him this composer. I was like, oh yeah, yes, Danny Elfman.
A lot of all his scores from that era sound like that, though, right? They either sound like Beetlejuice or they sound like Batman. And I think because I think like it's there are moments where he's hired to do something different, where he stretches. He stretches in, like, honestly, Batman Returns, Edward Scissorhands, Big Fish is a big stretch for him, I think. But I think there are other things where he's specifically hired to create that sound. Like, we want you to do this sound. Darkman is one of those things. We want it to sound like Batman.
Yeah.
We want it to sound like Batman, right?
Yeah.
So.
And it's good. I mean, it's a fairly decent soundtrack. I watched till the end of the credits with Stephen Sondheim songs. I don't mind Madonna, and I kind of agree with her voice, with how her voice, it should be sultry. It should be soothing and whatnot. And it feels kind of clunky coming from Madonna.
I was going to say it should be more breathy to be sultry, but I guess she is breathless. Breathless Mahoney.
Yeah. And somebody in the chat said it was like Jessica Rabbit. Yeah. Why don't you do right like some other men do?
Which is funny that they went Jessica Rabbit, because do you all remember that was tied? They did a Roger Rabbit clip at the beginning of the movie. It was in the theater, kind of like how Pixar does stuff. They did a Roger Rabbit. He was like at a theme park or something with like a ride in a roller coaster or something.
Nice.
Oh wow, yeah, that is.
They did one of those at the beginning of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah,
I think.
Yep. So it was right. They were doing that with those Roger Rabbit clips right at the beginning of some, but that was attached to this one too.
Wow, that's crazy. I wasn't even paying attention to that. I'm surprised I didn't see that. Well, I'll watch it again. It's fine.
Well, I don't know. I don't think any of the. I don't know. Like I'll have to. I have the VHS. I have to bust it out at some point. Like if you bought it digitally, it's not going to show it, and it's not an extra. But that's where they need like they need a Blu-ray collector's edition of this, of the behind the scenes, like a documentary of the makeup and stuff of this would be fantastic. The set pieces would, I mean, I showed you that book. Like if you could make that book come to life it would be so good. And to get, the stuff that was released with the, like the Roger Rabbit clip would be great.
That would be cool. Bearded, what do you think about the music?
I mean, it's funny. You all are like, it sounds a lot like Batman. I remember the first time I watched Batman, I'm like, man, this sounds a lot like Dick Tracy. Because I wasn't allowed to watch Batman.
You watched it first. Yeah.
So my first live action Batman was Batman Forever in 95. So I watched, by the time I was allowed to watch Batman and Batman Returns, I was probably 10 or 12. And so I had seen Dick Tracy 30 times by that time. I'd burn out the VHS tape. So like when I heard Batman, I'm like, this sounds a lot like Dick Tracy. I'm like, this is weird.
Nice.
Not even realizing that they came out. But it's funny that, this was something I feel like they did a lot too in the 90s of having the dual soundtracks, right? You had the score, and then you had they had the Breathless soundtrack. They did the same thing with Batman with Danny Elfman soundtrack and then the Prince album.
It's conflicting in the movie.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. And I mean, it definitely, they change. They're so drastically different that I think it can almost be like, whoa. And maybe that's why I was, as a 5-year-old, I didn't love the Madonna music aspect of it. Right. I wanted the cars, the gunshots, I didn't need Breathless Mahoney singing, and it was 5. I didn't. I wanted the gross villains, and
there's a lot of it. Maybe that's one of the pace issues, right?
Yeah.
Maybe if you cut that stuff down, right? Maybe that would actually work. But at the same time, you're not paying for Madonna and not utilizing
utilize her, right? Because I mean, I don't even know what you would, compare who you would get in a movie now, at that height to say this is
Beyonce,
right? I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you gotta get a singer. You gotta get a diva.
if you hire Beyonce and you get her to do a soundtrack, you're gonna have every single one of those fuckers in there.
She was in The Lion King when she wasn't that great. But
nobody was great in that movie, though.
Nobody was great in that movie. That's true.
She wasn't really in it. She was just a voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she was better in that Austin Powers movie, Goldmember.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. She was in that.
Sorry. I'm gonna put my hands down.
All right. Good thoughts. What about you, Brooks? What do you think about the music in the film? I'm sure you noticed it.
Yeah, I thought it was all right. It was a very, very basic kind of Elfman, what you'd expect, But I thought it was pretty good. The sound of that old timey, back in the Roaring '20s, when men were men and dames were dames. That kind of sound never really appealed to me too much. But it fits with the movie, and it fits with the tone of the movie. So I think it was good. Just probably not. I wouldn't consider it to be one of my favorite Elfman soundtracks.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't consider Batman to be one of my favorites. Honestly, I think he's done so much better work.
Yeah, he's done a lot.
Yes, and he's really leveled up because I remember him talking about, Danny Elfman was talking in the Hulk movie he did with Ang Lee. He would send in a composition, and Ang Lee would be like, sounds great, but it sounds too Danny Elfman. And so he's like, oh shit.
Thanks, when you get Jack Kirby to draw Superman for you, and then you fucking change Superman's face. Why'd you get Jack Kirby?
It caused him to stretch out of it because at this point, all of his scores either sounded like Beetlejuice or they sounded like Batman.
Yeah, he does have a very signature sound,
but not anymore. Now his scores are very diverse, and you can still pick up a thread of him. And I still think that one of his best scores is Big Fish. Just listen to that and isolated. It is fucking gorgeous. It's beautiful, and the way it's utilized in the film is top notch. All right, what is the movie trying to say? What's the thematic material to you? What's it speaking to you, Jelani?
I don't know. Crime doesn't pay. You're bad all this time. You're doing all these bad things, but slowly but surely, someone is coming for you. It's a great trope, and this film is oozing of it, and that's basically the premise of Dick Tracy. Anyway, he's a cop on the streets trying to stop the bad guys.
Crime didn't pay.
Yeah, and it's a great theme, and he helps a kid out, like a non-annoying child. You know, I thought he'd be insufferable, and he turns out to be a mentor and a father figure to him, to the point where he wants his name to be just like him.
Yeah,
and it's very touching to have that father-son bond in this movie. It's just very, it's a good family film, minus the Brothers Mahoney kind of sort of nudity, but it's in the violence, because you just killed a guy, like, by pouring cement on him. Nobody was supposed to get what that was, and dropping him away.
Plenty of death in this, man.
Horrible murders.
Done.
Yeah.
Dick's gunning everybody down. Tracy's gunning everybody down at the end, man.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I went to the bathroom on this or something and missed it. What happened to Flat Top?
He got killed at the end. He came back out of the car,
and he gets shot with a Tommy gun, like flailing like that. I mean, and Big Boy, Big Boy dies.
Everybody dies.
Breathless dies.
Yeah.
James Caan gets blown up.
Yep. Yeah, and all those dudes get like mowed down by those Tommy guns at the end, man.
Yeah,
there's some major death in this movie.
Mumbles is the only one that lives, because he snitches. But yeah, that's why what I think got out of it. Crime
nice. I mean, that's
crime doesn't pay.
Crime doesn't pay. I had a question about the strips. I'm curious, Greg. You've read the strips, right? Like, so is it a thing that Dick Tracy loves chili?
So it is 100% of Dick Tracy doesn't have an issue killing. Like, it's not like a Batman thing. He won't kill you, kind of is what his thing is, unless like he has to, like, because he's a cop. Like, so his mindset is like he's, it's what they were trying to portray of like, this is that's I think what the theme is trying to say of like, this kind of heroism of who Dick Tracy is, right? He he's not the one who necessarily makes a move on Breathless, right? Like, she kisses him in the movie, and he responds to like, I'm gonna break Tess's heart. I'm this hardened guy, but who's loyal to my job and truth, and like all this stuff. But in the strip, so like he would, like, there was like, you're not gonna get like Dick Tracy purists going like, Dick Tracy doesn't kill, like he shouldn't have killed Big Boy at the end. He's like, no, like, he's trying to kill me. I'm gonna protect my people I love. And
I feel real bad, Greg, because I think you misheard me. I asked if he liked chili, because in the movie he's eating chili.
Oh, I thought you said killing.
I know. I get it now. I get what you thought. So I was like, this is a good point. I'm going to let you go on. But I did ask if he actually liked, because all of the time he's eating chili. It's
his friends, right? It's his diner, like your friend's diner. It's his,
because he's always eating it out of the can too, which I like canned chili, so I don't care.
He's just dipping his fork in it.
That's a good point though about the killing though. I think that wound up to be fortuitous. So
well, that's what I thought you said. So yeah, he likes. I don't know. I can't speak to the chili part, so I'm glad I just went off of that.
He likes chilling. He likes chili and killing. He eats some chili, then he goes and kills. What's the theme to you, Greg? What's it speaking to you, man?
I mean, I think it's him trying to set up the the heroism of, if you live your life by the books, you do what's right, good things are going to come to you, kind of thing. Like, he gets the girl, he gets the kid, he also, and he gets his family, but it also isn't like he doesn't have to leave his job that he loves to have this family, right? Like, he doesn't have to sacrifice. He doesn't have to sacrifice. He doesn't have to make that decision that Batman does of like, well, if I'm happy, like Mask of the Phantasm was trying to have him do, like, oh, well then great. Like, I don't need to be Batman. It's there, he finds someone who, who can handle Dick Tracy, like, for who he is, and like, and kind of hold her own. And he doesn't have to sacrifice who he wants to be as a person. And so I think it's kind of this, like, this idea of, hey, if you play by the books, if you might have some downtimes, but it's going to work out for you in the end. Right. Like, there's and you're gonna get what you want. You're gonna get the girl. You're gonna get your job that you love, and you're gonna get your chili, I guess.
After a hard day of killing, it's nice to sit down with some Tracy's chili.
You know,
think
the
that Cobra
fact that
took
like
that
they
from, like,
didn't
Dick
have
Tracy?
cans of Dick Tracy chili now in stores is shocking.
They should. In fact, I know that right now during the break or after the show, you're going to be eBaying Dick Tracy chili cans.
You think I won't? And I'll eat some chili out of my thermos.
Bruh.
Oh wow.
He's already killing it. We ain't even gotten a
We've got show and tell. You're showing all the tells.
Well,
He's got.
I just brought like 4 pieces from my Dick Tracy. I have a Dick Tracy bookshelf.
He shared it today on
wow.
Instagram in a
That's
story,
awesome.
bruh. Like it's insane. That's why I was like, I gotta bring Bearded on. Brooks, what's the movie's theme? What's it saying to you, man?
Well, I think, like, in the end, the one of the main things in movies, you can't do it alone. Like Dick Tracy, he's a hero. He's a good guy, and he can accomplish a lot, but in the end, like, he can't do it all by himself. He ends up in jail, and he needs his friends to help him out. He needs the kid, all the people that he's helped over the years and who he's shown kindness to. They finally get a chance to pay him back by helping him, like pulling him out of his, like, his downward spiral where he's like, he's losing it. But then, like, his friends come in and like pick him back up and like support him, and in the end that lets him, get the win. And and then after that, he realizes, hey, this is how much these people care about me, like, because you have to let people that care about you show you that they care sometimes.
Yeah. You guys have all nailed it. You've done all my work for me tonight. When it comes to the thematic material, like Jelani said, crime doesn't pay. Like Bearded was talking about, you can still be who you are and find happiness. Just stay on that path, right? Keep doing what's right and what's good and what fits in your purpose. And like Brooks said, you can't do it alone. You need help. You can still be who you are, even with help, even with a family, right? And so to me, the ultimate point of this movie is purpose. Because it's Dick Tracy as someone who understands his purpose, but he doesn't understand purpose's place in his life. You got to have a purpose in life. You got to have a direction. You got to have something that almost every decision you make is directed towards. But at the same time, never forget the other things. I am very guilty of this. So this theme kind of hit me a little bit in this movie, because so many times do I forego spending time with my lady or my friends so that I can do my job, what I feel is my purpose, whether it's the comic shop, PCP work, things like that, right? I'm always like focused on that, working on that. And sometimes I don't take the moments to have those cherished memories that we built Saturday night when we went to our first annual post-expo station karaoke and had such a great time. And like, I got to get back to that. I got to understand, we all got to understand that we can still be people of purpose and be on a direction, but we got to take those breaks to spend with the people that we love, because they are our ultimate support, right? And without them, we don't have legs to stand. So, station, right? Time to rate the film. Out of 5 possible you digs, you out there in the chat, what do you give 1990s Dick Tracy? And Jelani, out of 5 you digs, what do you do? What do you think?
Well, I'm going to give this one a 4 or 5. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I think I would have as a kid, because I watched it a little more with a critical eye. And yeah, I mean, I don't have those big nostalgia glasses for this movie. I only saw it once, but I enjoyed it, and I've seen pieces of it, like I said before, since. And I enjoyed the parts I've seen on this rewatch. I really enjoyed it. I will watch it again. It is now in some type of rotation for me. So I really, it's a 4 or 5 for me. I totally dig it.
Hell yeah. 4.5 from Jelani. What about you, Greg? What do you
All I'm
think?
hearing is Jelani is going to be the one on eBay Googling, finding some Dick Tracy action
Yeah.
figures.
I'll probably end up buying the blank and not knowing it. No, just,
You got
We're-
5-6 grand? Come on, bro. Let me borrow it.
We're all going to be bidding on the same one. Like,
Yeah.
like, is this you, Jelani?
I'd be like, I can do a PayPal in 4
yeah, do it.
if you
4
stretch it out over 6
4
months.
years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
It's the fucking price of a car, bro. It's
is.
ridiculous. Like it's
It
a
is.
fucking. I want it so bad.
That's nuts.
it is my collecting like white whale. Like I want it so bad, and
Some guy's gonna have it at a flea market. You're just gonna walk in and sell it for $2.
The thing to do is
It's
just
Madonna.
get some smart investments, build those up. Maybe some comics, maybe some other action figures, something. Build them up to a point. Start selling them, making more, get bigger pieces, moving up, and then eventually you get a fucking blank, and you don't even think about how much you paid for it. You just look at it once a night, having some whiskey or something, maybe a cigar, whatever you're into, a blunt. That's what I'm into, and you just enjoy it because that's what I would do.
Did Playmates do the Dick Tracy toys?
Yes.
Well, maybe they'll do they'll redo them like they
There's
did the
no
Turtles.
call for that right now. Maybe if they somehow revitalize this franchise.
Yeah, like
that
if
could be cool.
they
well, I
do
mean,
the new
that's
Dick
not,
Tracy movie.
it was there was an episode, comic book men, where like some guy brought in like his entire collection of Dick Tracy on card, figures, and they're like, dude, we can't sell this. Like, no, like, we can't do anything. Like, I mean, you can get a Dick Tracy on card still for like $20, which you can't do with any of the TMNT stuff.
It's just the blank, which is so weird because I think it's the rarity of it.
It is.
Its importance as a
It's
unmasked spoil, and it's Madonna. So you
Yeah.
add in the Madonna fan base.
Well, and I think it's a collector one because the rarity, but it's also as like a toy collector. It's one of the first, like you said, movie spoilers in a toy line that, even people that probably don't appreciate Dick Tracy as a movie are getting it for that collecting aspect of it that they have because they know what they got. I don't think they're not going to re-release it. Like that one's the Tramp is actually getting a little expensive because it got pulled as well because it was depicting homelessness in a not a great light. And so there was a organization that was fighting. Yeah. So
it's so weird too because he's in the movie for like 30 seconds.
Do you know how they have the rodent? They have the brow figure. They literally have 5 figures, I think, that were in the movie for 4 minutes at the most total.
Yeah. The movie is very toyetic.
Yes.
As they say. Did you give us your rating?
I was about to, and we went down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah. I mean, I can't not give it a 5, you digs. I mean, it is what got me into reading comics. It's what got me into collecting and the appreciation of the form. I'll never be able even to like look at it critically, like what it did for me as a fan and for what it meant to me as a child. It's 5, you digs. I mean, it, and I know this coming 100% from nostalgia glasses but
that's fine. We support nostalgia glasses here.
So
trust
I get digs to Masters of the Universe, dude. Don't feel bad.
That's still on a rotation for me. Is that movie?
Yeah.
And freaking what's his face? The guy who plays the detective in Masters of the Universe's numbers in this.
The principal from
the
fucking,
bald guy.
The principal from Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Yep.
Yeah.
He plays numbers. Who's running all the books for Big Boy?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He's
and then what's his name from Scrooged is the guy who's like bugging him or whatever in the top. Like I remember loving that scene as a kid.
The big
yeah. That's the dude that dies in Scrooge. Remember it freezes to death?
He freezes to death. Yeah.
When you talk about Big Boy being over the top, that scene where he discovers the bug, he's like climbing on
What's this?
like he literally is like loudly whispering closer and closer. He gets to the microphone. We're being bugged.
Yeah. We're being bugged. And then when they're like setting them up, they wink. Like, it's so cheesy, man. Awesome. I expect no less than 5 you digs from you, bro.
Yeah.
What about you, Brooks? What do you give it?
I give this movie 3.5. I liked it, but I didn't love it. There was a lot of good things about it that I enjoyed. I mean, I would probably definitely watch it again if given the opportunity. But I did not like the kid in this movie very much.
What?
I found him kind of annoying and pointless, and he was just sucking up time that could have been spent on better things.
Like dates.
But, I don't hate him so much that I think he should have been just out of the movie altogether. I just think his part should have been I think he got too much screen time personally, and I just found him annoying.
Wow.
What a weird, bizarro world we live in which Delaney loves the kid in this movie and Brooks fucking hates him.
No, I thought we were going to be
hating the kid
bonded
together,
brothers in hatred this time, but I was wrong.
It's okay, dude.
I mean, they tapped into it from the comic strip because he's a big part in the comic strips.
Yeah,
that makes and then back then they would have wanted the kid character.
They wanted the kid. They wanted the Robins, right? They wanted.
So that's why we got fucking Rick Jones's ass.
I think when I was a kid, I actually liked the kid.
Snapper car.
Snapper with the line.
I snapped, guys.
Conqueror, bro. Starter the Conqueror would have destroyed the world if not for Snapper Car.
You're right. I mean, it's fucking stupid as shit. I snap.
What's
I get to hang out with the Justice League.
All these movies that put the kid, to for us kids to that we can relate, they never make toys of those kids. There wasn't a Dick Tracy the kid figure. They didn't have the Hook figure, him as in the Hook toy line.
It's true. They did have young John Connor though for the T2 figure. So
okay, you're right.
Yeah.
Did they ever make a short round
with the motorcycle?
Did they make a short round?
I don't think so. The Indiana Jones figures back in those days were those those Star Wars looking ones, right?
Yeah. Joe size, I think.
I never got into those or nothing. I never got into those kind of figures except for Star Wars. So for me, I'll be honest, man. I'm kind of I could land anywhere between a 3 and a 4 right now. And I think honestly, after tonight's discussion, I'm going to go ahead and go with 4. I think 4 you digs is good because I honestly think that you get somebody, I hate to say this as a fucking huge Madonna fan, but you get somebody else for that role and maybe extend the cut, even just basically what I'm saying is even out the pacing. It's fucking brilliant. Everything else in the movie is fucking brilliant to me. The majority of the performances, the makeup effects, the production design, the special effects, the cinematography, it's gorgeous. It's incredibly well executed and crafted, and it's ambitious, and it lives up to almost most of its ambition, and it's a character in and of itself. So I'll go 4 you dig. So 4.5 from Delaney, 5 from Greg, 3.5 from Brooks, and a 4 from me. We're all over the place, so that makes the cumulative total. Hold on, let me. This is some difficult math here. We're going to go 3.238968.
No, your math's off.
We don't.
You had a 4, a 4.5, and a 5, and a 3.5. It's got to be 4.2.
I said 4.2 point, 4.2.
No, you said 3 point something.
You said 3 point something.
Oh, I meant 4.2. 69 dudes. Okay.
It's the chili thing all over again, Robbie.
Yeah. Now I want chili.
I
want chili.
I had chili last night. It was delicious.
And the only one out there in the chat who has shared their thoughts was Two Gun Pedro. Said 4 you digs. Enjoyed it more this time than I did as a kid. It's definitely one I plan to put in the rotation. I'm crossing my fingers now that we have the capabilities of 4K. Let us get some kind of special edition of this on physical media, y'all, with that documentary. Come on, man. This movie's already passed a few anniversaries. We're 3 years from, what would it be, 35? Come on. Let's do it. Thus concludes our movie review for Dick Tracy. Now we're about to get into Crew's Choice, the Crew's Choice section of the year. But before we do Crew's Choice, we do Audience Choice. So we had an audience poll. We got 10 movies listed together, put them on a poll, and the winner will be discussed next week. That winner is Tremors.
Oh, it won?
It
Of
won.
course it did.
It eked out
Overwhelming.
over Fight Club against me trying to campaign against it. Tremors is the winner. So next week, join us for Tremors on PCP Movie Night on Monday night at 8 p.m. Central Time. On Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central Time, join us for a conversation with Nick Patera, artist of Manhattan Projects, Leviathan, and the upcoming Axe Wielder John. Very excited to have a conversation with him. And then on Dylan's Horror Show, we're doing a Carpenter classic Saturday night. We're talking about Christine, y'all. So that's right. Thursday night, a conversation with Nick Patara live, 7 p.m. Central Time. That's going to be fun. Dylan's Horror Show, Christine on Saturday night. And the next week on Monday night, Tremors, the winner of the PCP Audience Choice for 2022. Out of every movie, y'all fucking pick Tremors?
Tremors.
All right.
We'll watch
Historically,
it.
I don't like the film. We'll see it. All right. We are dipping out for now. We're taking a quick break. We'll be back with PCP Back Chat. And well, I should have had a good quote from this movie, but I can't really think of anything. So
I want Tracy dead.
I have a thought. It's coming. It's coming. It's gone.
I love how Big Boy is always quoting famous leaders of history.
Yeah.
Right?
He's like there's a little touch that he's like fascinated with like famous leaders of history.
Yeah, because he does it in the car when when Dick Tracy, arrests him again falsely.
Yeah, he quotes Roosevelt, he quotes Lincoln, he quotes Jefferson, he mentions Napoleon, he quotes Nietzsche. Like it's really interesting. Really interesting. Basically, if you could take one thing from tonight, all of us here tonight, we like Dick. Hey, everybody, welcome to PCP Back Chat. That's right, it's the show after the show. We just reviewed Dick Tracy, and now we're back for PCP Back Chat. We'll be chatting about whatever you want to chat about, plus me, Jelani, and Brooks just had a great weekend at the Huntsville Comic Pop Culture Expo. We are delighted to have Greg here from Bearded Comic Bro, and we're going to be chatting for a little bit and then having a little bit of a show and tell. We got Bueller in the house. It got unofficially announced today on his live stream. I don't know if you want me to say it, but I won't. But I'm just going to say, oh, Jay, we've been in the same stream plenty of times. But thank you for being here. Bearded is a friend of the show.
Absolutely.
You're family now, bro.
I appreciate it.
Welcome.
That being said, I got to put together the monthly stream. It's weird. I would have done it on Thursday, but then I had Nick on the show, so I don't know. We're going to figure that out. We'll figure out what's going on. How you doing, Bueller? Happy to see you. Great. So Bueller was recently in El Paso, Texas. Got to hang out with Jim Mint Collectibles. Super envious. And there you go. Speaking of having Nick Patera on the channel, by the way, that's coming up on Thursday night. He's got a new project coming out, Axe Wielder John. It goes live on Zoom on Tuesday. That's tomorrow. You definitely want to check that out. So definitely check out that conversation. He was on a bunch of channels recently. He was on Comic Tropes. He was on Comics by Perch. Perch and Joe interviewed him. And towards the end, he said, yeah, I got a live stream. My first live stream ever is coming up with a guy who works at a comic shop. And Joe's like, who are you talking about? You talking about Robbie Billups? He's like, yeah, Rockin' Robbie Billups. And he's like, it's like they're like talking, and then Perch says, excellent channel. Station, Comics by Perch. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I'm sure he's biased because Joe's on the channel frequently. So, but he's probably has to say that. But no, it's going to be super fun to have Nick on the channel. I'm a big fan of Manhattan Projects and his artwork. And y'all have gotten a look at that Axe Wielder John book. You're going to want it. And he's like, I'm not even going to pitch this fucking book. I'm going to do it myself. Every panel is a widescreen panel, and he's done each panel on an 11 by 17 piece. So the size that most people draw a whole page on, he's doing each panel. So the detail is amazing, and it's violent, and it's got heart. It's so good. It's so good, y'all. You could definitely got to check it out. If you're fans of work of like Mobius, Jeff Darrow, Frank Quitely, you know what's up. It's Nick Patera. Come on, y'all. Y'all know what's up. Y'all know what's up. So, how y'all doing?
Good.
I'm good.
I'm tired of happening broke. That's the way it works, man. That's how it works. We were at a show for 3 days, and it was absolutely insane. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's a great show, man. Yeah, I'm surprised that I planned the break wrong. You know, we took 2 weeks off in the beginning of April, and then I was like, oh shit, we should have took the last 2 weeks off because of the fucking con and everything.
Yeah.
It's exhausting, obviously, but it's super fun. Mm-hmm. So, Greg, we had the Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. There were a bunch of people here. A bunch of people here, but the big ones were like comic book wise were Jim Starlin and Kevin Eastman.
And you did panels on both, right?
Yeah, I got to host the panels of both, and they were fantastic. Jim Starlin was super cool. I didn't get anything signed by Jim Starlin because every time I went to his booth, he wasn't there. Like no fucking.
Yeah, I never got in the parking lot twice. I walked past him like 3 times.
I'm just gonna have to start being that fucking dude. I don't care how obnoxious it is to like bring the shit I want to sign with me to the fucking panels.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I'm sorry. I'll give you the money right now. Just fucking sign it for me. I don't want to wait in line anymore. But it was, dude. It was, you know, I've had a lot of conversations with comic book creators and content creators here on YouTube, and I honestly, I think that a highlight of my career was the Kevin Eastman panel. Like I loved it. Both of y'all were here, so maybe I'm overselling it, but I have never had random people come up to me afterwards, like multiple times, and tell me how good the panel was. And that happened this year. And I was like, these guys know it, but Greg, I was like stuffing my head filled with Kevin Eastman shit for months building up to this, bro.
The tank.
I was, yeah, dude, I knew everything, man.
Yeah.
Well, I get it. Like when you when you're getting someone like that's Kevin Eastman, like you want to be able to prep and be the best that the best that you can be to bring the quality you want to bring. Because I mean, you don't want to just be the token like, so what'd you come up with the turtles, right? Like you want to have like stuff that like, and you want to be prepped. So I'm not surprised in the least bit that that's what you were doing.
Well, thank you. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be like, so how'd you come up with the turtles? How did the cartoon start? I didn't want to ask the questions that he's asked all the fucking time. I wanted to get him to talk about what he loves about comics. I wanted to get him to reflect on his journey. Because this dude went from being a huge multimillionaire post this shit, right? To spending, he lost $14 million in 3 years on Tundra Publishing. And when I brought up Tundra, I brought it up in a way where I was like, I know that's probably a sore subject to him, right? Because of how much money he lost on that. But like the idea behind it led to like where we are today in a lot of things, like with creator ownership by certain publishers. And so he was doing very important work, introducing Mike Allred to everybody by publishing Madman, having Steve Bissett come in and do stuff, having Rick Veitch come in and do stuff. And like, it ultimately didn't work, but it set a precedent for something. And his devotion and passion to comic books is art, and how those artists deserve the credit for that art. It's like, I got the opportunity to be there and tell him what I thought and thank him for it. And it wasn't me that made it a good panel. What made it a great panel was Kevin Eastman. Kevin Eastman was fucking amazing. Like Jim Starlin was great, but he did not like to elaborate on many things.
Tough.
So halfway through, I was like, I'm going to the fucking audience because I'm running out of material. You know what I'm saying? But Kevin was great. I feel like we had a conversation, and it was really, really cool. I liked it a lot.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned Mike Allred too, because he was one of the writers of the Dick Tracy comic book series that came out a year. Yep, that one right there. So
this is the only Dick Tracy comics I have, but it's because I'm a big fan of Rich Tommaso and Mike Allred. And
Allred, they did, because the IDW did too. They did that one, and they did Dick Tracy Forever, which I was not a fan of that one.
I didn't either. I stopped getting it, to be honest. So I think I gave them away in a mystery box. I don't have them anymore.
Yeah. So, but that one, Dead or Alive, I loved. I thought it was great. So,
yeah, that's good stuff. So, Brooks, what was some of your favorite stuff that happened this weekend at the con for you, man?
Well, getting Eastman to sign my book, that was nice. But the panel was pretty fun.
The PCP panel?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
And the Eastman panel too. I thought that was a good panel.
Well, thank you. And if anybody's interested, I shared the live streams from the expo. They're on their Facebook page, and I don't know if they're going to put them on YouTube or not, but if you go to the PCP Army on Facebook, I have posted all three of those streams. So the Jim Starlin panel, the Kevin Eastman panel, and the PCP panel.
So talk to me then. What was the PCP panel then?
It was me. It was the three of us.
Yeah.
And like, a room with probably about
larger
dozen
than
people, maybe a little more. Maybe, I don't know. It wasn't exactly a packed house, but
we were the end of the night on Friday, which is the least populated
the best
day.
time slot that we used to get.
Fucking didn't. But I don't want to say I need to talk to somebody, but it wasn't as bad as our Sunday.
I was gonna say, I feel like last time I was on, you were like, just hope we don't get on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, Sunday afternoon's bad, and so is Friday night, apparently, because we went up against the film.
You don't be in the beginning or the end. You want to be in that middle spot.
Yeah, the other panel room was the fucking film festival.
Mm-hmm.
So they everybody's fucking there to like watch the short films and vote on who's gonna win and shit. But I think we had a better turnout. I think we all in all had around 12 to 15 people, but we went live on our Facebook group and we had fun with
questions.
it.
People were,
we had fun with it.
We trashed Moon Knight like you're supposed to.
We did. But it was fun. It's always fun, man. We had good people there. So
yeah.
We had some people that have been almost every panel we've ever done. It's great. So.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the first few panels we did though were on Saturdays. We had really good crowds for those.
Yeah.
But Friday was the wrong But you know what? I don't want a weird stretch. I get the opportunity to be on stage with Kevin Eastman to meet him and have a more of a connection than some people that just, most people will get, that week, but it's just super cool. So
Yeah.
I don't want to like complain about the placement of the PCP panel or anything like that, because we'll make it. And I'll tell you this, and this has happened over the last few years, but we've had people come up and say, hey, I know you guys from YouTube.
Yeah.
And I came here to see y'all, but it happened the most this year. It happened several times.
It
That's
really
awesome.
did.
And it blew my fucking mind every time it happened. In fact, at one time, it got me and Jelani both, because this dude comes up and he goes, and we're like, what's up? How you been? Because we're thinking it's someone that we're supposed to know.
I thought it was my friend A. I really did.
Jelani's like, how you been? Haven't seen you in years. And he's like, I don't think you've ever seen me.
Yeah. he told me I was his favorite. And I was like,
Aww.
oh my God! What?
I remember David Hatch used to always make it out to the con.
Oh, every year.
Yeah, every year.
Oh, I missed not seeing him.
Yeah.
Man.
Toss it up to David Hatch.
Yeah, David Hatch, guys.
Rest in power.
Rest in peace, brother. Yeah, dude. Well, I got to meet Kane, so there's that. He was. I told him he was there. Teddy Long from WWE, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat showed up from WWE. So I got to get Kane's autograph. It was quite expensive. He was super cool because he walked in as Glenn Jacobs, sat down, regular guy, said hi to everybody, and then he put the mask on.
Dude,
And it was just freaking Kane, and he stayed in character.
when
And
he
I
puts
told
that
him-
mask
Is he
on,
wearing the mask again?
Huh? Yeah.
Oh.
He's been wearing the mask. He's worn the mask for years. After
He
he
wears
took
the
it off.
mask.
I remember he wasn't wearing the mask.
Yeah,
He wore the
Yeah.
mask in the mayor's office, I believe.
yeah.
I only saw him walking by that one time because this was one of those random years where I did not go around and look around. In fact, I didn't even buy anything till that last day.
Oh,
Then I
wow.
went a little ham. You just wait and see. But
I went ham. Like the whole
you
trip.
went way ham. But for me, it's quality over quantity. Let's just say that.
I don't know what to tell you about that, dog, because mine was all quality. I have no clue what you're talking
No,
about.
you got some dope shit, man. And I know we're itching to get to show and tell, but it was a really great con this year. It was probably one of the biggest ones they've had. They just announced that next year, the first guests they announced were Brian O'Halloran and Jeff Anderson from Clerks. So Randall and Dante are going to be here next year, and I'm very excited. I wonder what I got to do to get on that panel. I would like to do. I should just
I
let
think I
Jeremy
want
know
my
now.
Clerks animated DVD signed by those
Oh,
guys.
bro, like I had that too, and that's probably the most rare piece of Clerks memorabilia we
Yeah.
got.
Yeah.
Why are we walking like this?
Have you ever seen the Clerks animated series, bro?
I've not. I've that's the one thing of that I haven't seen.
It is
Oh,
so worth it. Just 6 episodes.
It's like prime Kevin Smith.
It's so fucking good, man. Like, it's what Family Guy wishes it was.
Yeah.
Like, I'm telling you, man, like the bits and the way it works, like this, you know how there's that typical sitcom cliche where they have the episode where they flash back to all the previous episodes? They do
Yeah.
that for their second
That's a whole
episode.
episode.
So all they do is
Remember what
flash
happened?
back to the first fucking episode.
Yeah.
Remember when we got locked in the freezer?
And when they fucking do it, when they aired it out of order, right? And so we never saw the actual first episode. And the first episode they played was the Judge Reinhold one,
There's
right?
Reinhold episode.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
second one was the second flashback. And we're like, no, we had no clue what the fuck was going on, man. But when you watch them, oh my God, it's so good. So worth it. So worth it. You watch them all back to back. Just do.
I need to.
I wonder if it's streaming somewhere. Because ABC bought the rights and produced the show, committed to it. But apparently none of the executives even understood what Clerks were. Because they like kept fighting.
Yeah.
Like they have a lot of jokes in there that are not
Not
PC.
safe. Yeah.
And like
When he's talking about the awards or whatever, because they're watching like The Secret Diary of Desmond Tutu or something, or
Yeah.
Desmond, and that he's like talking about the awards. It's for movies that don't use words like retarded.
yes, it's yeah, some of it's weird. It's in oh my God, the jury. What?
This is-
They're all famous basketball players. No, they're all black. They're also all basketball players.
Oh, players.
Like, And it really is like Patrick
Yeah.
Ewing and Charles Barkley. And Charles Barkley's in a bunch of
It's actually in the
man.
voices. Yeah, he
Yeah.
actually does the voice. It's nice.
Wake up, Patrick. You dreaming about your crappy jump shot again? Oh my God. It's great bit. There's this stuff at the end of every episode too, where it'll be like Jay and Silent Bob doing like a science says bit or a safety tips bit. And then at one point, Charles Barkley comes up to like do it instead, and they show up and just kick his ass. And they're like, "We do the fucking science says."
Science. And it's Silent Bob is the one who says it too. We do the science says. Got it.
And so like they couldn't like Jay and Silent Bob couldn't sell drugs, so they sold fireworks.
These guys want to buy some fireworks.
So ridiculous. So ridiculous. Yeah, but it's fun. It's funny. How was your weekend, Greg? What'd you get to this weekend?
Not a whole lot of comic stuff, sadly. I wanted to do Huntsville. I wanted to drive down, but it would have been an 8-hour drive, and I'm trying to be a little smart because I might be doing one in Connecticut in the summer, and then me and the missus are going to do Baltimore, so we're trying to save a little bit, but
yeah,
man, I just was with the family.
It will definitely be worth it one day because the karaoke bit's gonna like continue on. So like, it'll be worth it alone. Get a hotel, stay the night. We'll take you to some cool local breweries.
I'm in.
Pinball arcades and shit like that, and then we'll go karaoke, man.
I'm in. That sounds fantastic. So yeah, man, it was the freaking first weekend of nice weather, so I was with the fam doing dad stuff.
Oh yeah, it was gorgeous down here, man. Gorgeous. Where are you at?
I'm in Columbus, Ohio.
That's right. I thought you were in Ohio.
Yep.
You're near Dillon. You're closer to Dillon.
Yeah. So Dillon's up north of me. But yeah, we're getting GalaxyCon Columbus this winter in December, and so man, they have a Batman the Animated Series actors that are going to be there, and I've never wanted to like finagle my way into doing a panel ever in my life, but that would be one.
Oh, that would be dope, man.
Because they've got John Glover, Lauren Lester, Kevin Conroy, like, and
oh wow,
and they've got almost all the cast of the Fox the Tick showing up. And they've got all a lot of them from the
like
Clerks.
The live action or the
live action. So Patrick Warburton.
Oh my God, Putty!
Yep.
Oh, I killed him.
So they've got Patrick Warburton. They've got the guy who plays. I'm blanking on the Tick sidekick.
Arthur.
Oh, Arthur.
Yep. And then Captain. What is it? Captain Liberty.
Okay, they didn't get the Fledermaus.
They changed American Made to Captain Liberty in that, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think
Didn't they change to Fledermaus too?
Yeah, they did.
Batman-Well.
And I'm Batman-Well, and that's Richard from fucking Lost,
right? Yeah. Which I'm like, come on,
is he there?
He's not higher up than anyone else on that. Like just because he was on Lost, they can get him.
Yeah,
he's a sexy looking dude, man. I want to tell you, he's got that like fucking eyeliner looking fucking thing going on.
Nestor Cantanella, I can't remember his name. It's Nestor something. I gotta look him up again.
Oh
he
wow,
was a handsome feller.
I've got to ask in the chat, Wu-Tang, are you from Columbus area as well? Because he's just dropping comic shop names right there, left and right. So I'm actually Crazy Comics is my comic shop, but Laughing Ogre is my second one because they get every single book ever printed. So if I don't have it on my pull list, I go to Laughing Ogre.
Lane, did you get choke slammed by Kane?
I wanted him to do it on a table, like slam me on the table and then sign the table. That would have been lovely. It would have been beautiful. But no, he has a weak handshake. Glenn Jacobs has a weak handshake. I shook his hand.
Like hurt somebody, crush somebody's hand.
Crush my hand, man. I want to burn.
He's a fucking big dude. He's a wrestler who has to practice restraint.
I hope for some reason.
He just shook my hand.
I hope for some reason, like maybe his agent or manager walked by our booth, was interested, checked out our website, and is watching right now and saw you say that, and you get challenged to a fucking celebrity fucking
arm wrestling.
You want to get choke slammed?
Yes. And I'd be like, yes. No tombstone pile drivers.
It's Joanne's like, you seen that? Was it Ready to Rumble?
Yeah.
That's Joanne right now. King me.
Now listen, I watched that movie a second time. That movie has not aged well. I couldn't finish it.
It's
I was shocked because the first time I watched it, I loved that movie, and I was like, oh, it was back when I like Goldberg and WCW and Dime Dallas Page. You had all the wrestlers on it. Sting was in it. I was like, oh man, it's absolutely terrible now. It's absolutely horrible. And I hated that happen. It hurt my heart. But yeah, I want all the finishing moves done to me. I want like the Rock's people's elbow. I want like the Stone Cold Stunner. I want to get like
I hope there's no genies like listening to you right now.
Yeah.
I want every wrestling move done on me.
Not the pedigree.
One after the other.
Past pedigree. But yeah, man, it feels like it's awesome. I had the figure 4 put on me once years ago. It hurts like hell. I do not wish to have that. Not at all. But everything else, woo! Yeah, buddy.
I just hope you're at a con someday with Goldberg and he heard this and just
I'm a
just get
spear.
Delaney is down.
Oh God, I've been speared. I've been speared before, and it's not fun either.
But have you been speared by Goldberg?
No, it'd be fun though. I'd sure take it. I'd take it like a man. He'd be like, oh, yeah, I'd be dead. Yes. But yeah, I had fun. It was a lot of good. Darby Allin came. The AEW guys, Dustin Rhodes, Goldust came, and I like that wrestlers show up to these things. It's
a
very
weird
cool
crossover between wrestling and comic.
Yeah, it is.
Like Comic Cons and.
I really enjoy.
Wrestlers are like real life superheroes in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I guess they are.
They wear tights. They always fight.
Yep.
There's a lot of drama, melodrama, even.
Yeah. But Teddy Long was there, and his line he didn't have a line, but I was scared to go up and talk to him because if I walked up, he'd be like, "What do you want? Let me holler at you, player. Let me holler at you." But I'm glad that our little con and our little beautiful little town has grown so much to where A, we have fans that know us, and B, we have like enough talent to come. It's fantastic. I mean, Kevin Eastman alone, that's just that's like all the childhoods, just all of one sitting, and it's pretty cool that we're getting stuff like this now, like this so close. You know, I don't have to drive like forever to get to somewhere to see somebody, you know?
That's awesome.
So it's super fun. Super fun.
Yeah.
And I lost my voice. And I lost my voice to karaoke. And Brooks can blast it. So
Brooks came to karaoke for the first time ever and just killed it. Yeah, did you have fun karaoke Brooks for your first time?
Yeah, it was fun. I liked it.
Is it something you would do again? Because we're thinking about doing it for my birthday for Robbie Week, and it would be the night after. It would be the night of Free Comic Book Day.
Ooh.
Which, here's the thing, it got kind of revealed by Jim Mint today on Bueller's live stream. Bueller's planning on being here for Free Comic Book Day.
Oh, wow!
I think we need to get Bueller to go karaoke with us.
Come on, Bueller. Do it, man. I know you were on here before.
Saying, man. We got to get him to karaoke.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
So there you go.
I love Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah, dude.
It's on our family calendar.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Well, because we hop around. It's like a scavenger hunt for us. And so I take the kids and we go, we'll buy stuff at each shop and the girls get to pick out books. And so it's, because a lot of the shops do, I don't know, Robbie, if you guys do something, I mean, they're doing like blow ups at some of these, you know, like for the kids and like face painting and costume contests. Like, so my kids are like, oh, okay. They know I like comic books, and like the times where like, hey, let's rate them with you. Like, that's awesome. But they just go for the kid stuff and they love it.
Yeah. Yeah. We used to do the blow ups and stuff, but we switched a location and now we have less room to do kind of stuff like that. But we do it's a huge event. We have the costume
Yeah.
contest. The cosplayers come out. We have, of course, the free books. We do a big sale. It's our biggest day of the year. It's like Black Friday for comic shops, and we utilize it, man. And it's nice to hear your perspective on it, because sometimes I lose that perspective because I'm on the other side of it, and all I know is the fucking ball of stress that day is.
Yeah.
You know, but it's also it is a very fun day, and I'm looking forward to this year in particular because Bueller being in town is going to really be a highlight, and we're going to make a lot of fun out of it, man.
Well, I try to, if we go to a shop, my rule is I try to buy stuff because I know it's such a big ordeal to get people in, and I know there's a lot to just go to get the free books and, do whatever you need to do, I guess, for you. But I love it because it's an opportunity to introduce my family kind of to my hobby that they don't, they're under 4, right? Like they don't.
Yeah.
So
no, that's super cool because it's become this holiday. I remember those first ones, and it was so weird in those early days, Free Comic Book Day. I mean, Jelani, Brooks, y'all remember that? Like the very first Free Comic Book Day.
Like
I used to love Free Comic Book Day.
2000.
Yeah, the very 2002 was the very first one, I think, because it was for the release of the Spider-Man movie. And we didn't even nobody was coming to our shop to grab those free books. So we just went to the movie theater and set up there. And I think y'all were there. We gave away a Spider-Man statue that I dropped and broke because the box wasn't taped in the bottom, and I lifted the box and the Spider-Man statue fell. But we were giving away the free books and stuff. And I remember even thinking the movies are going to make these books pop again, because people that don't remember, the late 90s, early 2000s were really low time for comic book sales. And, I worked at a shop at that time, and we wound up closing up because there was nothing there. And all the shops here all closed down. And the only one that really survived is the one that I'm working at right now. And, so, those were crazy times, and we were really banking that this was going to be a thing. And it's really cool to see that 20 years later, it is a huge ordeal,
right?
Like it brings in droves of people. It's a way different time. In my life, I've gone from the lowest to the highest. I've seen that big boom in the late 80s, early 90s. I saw the fucking early 2000s and where we are today. It's not quite where we were back then, but it's a lot better than 20 years ago, even 10. So hell yeah. Industry's good, man. I think we're still here to stay, guys.
Oh yeah, very true.
Well, we've been bullshitting, so it's time to get to the real deal. It's time to get to some show and tell. And to kick us off for show and tell tonight, I'm going to throw it to my man Greg, because I know he's got some good stuff to show off. Ooh. So, bearded comic bro.
You know what? Actually, kick it off to someone else, and I'll move locations.
All right. Let's do it.
I'll move locations because I'll keep it thematically.
I get where we're going, so we're going to kick it off with Brooks. Brooks, show us what you've got.
Well, we got this regular, boring, just regular, dull, collection. I'll wait. It's got a Kevin Eastman drawing / autograph in it now.
Yeah. Cool.
So I picked this up at the comic shop the other day. It's
The Death Ray
classic by Danielle Klaus.
What'd you think about it?
I like it. It's an interesting. I love this opening page. Just a kid shouting penis. And I also like how he does all the information on the book in the form of characters saying it. This is just the information about the publisher and all that stuff.
Yep. That's a genius at work, man.
Yeah. It's I would highly recommend this book. It's a bit heavy, I guess. But still a fun read. Also, I pick up, I've been so jealous because all these guys are showing off these cool prints. And, I never have prints. I just have stupid, toys and books. So this time at the expo, I picked up my own original print from
Nice.
a local artist from this very city. Like I got it because the character or the image reminded me of a character from the game Hollow Knight. So I was like, it's meant to be.
You can tell everybody who the artist is, bro.
Why don't you say?
It's Jamie, my girlfriend, and that's from her tarot deck that's about to be launched on Kickstarter. So,
Hey.
Yeah, she had a lot. There were a lot of cool ones, but that one just that was the one that popped out for me. And I didn't have a whole lot, so like I'm just gonna show this. Like last night, I did this abstract drawing.
dope.
Awesome,
Supposed to do
dude.
this for- Like
Oh, wow.
I haven't done one in like a long time since I was in like college, so I just kind of had like an urge to like just try doing something weird. So
Dude,
it was
that's
a lot of
cool as
fun.
shit. You
It
gotta
is.
do more of those,
Like-
man.
I
That's
just
really cool,
started
man.
with the rune, and then I just kind of started like doing different patterns and stuff to fill it out. But yeah, I used to do that stuff like back in college for like projects and stuff, and it's so fun because you kind of just can tune out and just do lines and just fill in random things.
Hell
Like
yeah.
anybody who thinks they can't draw, just do that. Just
Yeah.
make a shape and then just start making line. Just doing
Play
whatever.
around with it.
Dude, that's awesome,
Practice.
Brooks. I want to see more art from you, man. That's
I'm thinking
awesome.
about inking it. Actually, I think it'd look
You
a
should.
little better. I think
You should, man. Hell yeah. Do more original art. I bet we can sell some.
Yeah,
I'll
next,
buy-
I'll,
I'll
have,
buy a
I'll
piece.
have a booth next to you next time.
We'll just share a booth, man. We'll cut the cost in half, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of cutting costs in half, it's Bearded Comic Bro Show and Tell. Show us what you've got.
Listen, can you hear me okay? Because I'm not on my mic.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd show you guys the Dick Tracy shrine here.
Oh, my goodness.
Like it's no joke. Like this, there's Robbie's Madonna LP.
Nice.
The
No.
Dick Tracy cop car mug.
Wow.
You have the NES game?
What?
Do you have the NES game?
Yep. NES game.
Oh,
and Sega.
nice.
Yeah.
I heard the Genesis game is good, but the NES game I've played and that shit sucks.
So this,
Yeah,
I don't know
The Angry Video Game Nerd did an episode on that game.
The Sega Genesis game is sweet because it's you have it where a couple levels where he's in the cop car and like he's on the side of it and he's popping up and you have to aim your gun and shoot at the villains and stuff. So this is probably one of my coolest. This was my first ever AOK from freaking Cap
Nice.
Comics. It is a newspaper from 1934.
Wow.
In 1936, which has Dick Tracy in it.
That's cool.
Right?
That's
So,
awesome.
I mean, I have everything. Like, I have plates, board games, dolls. I'm going to have to send this to Robbie since he's such a big Madonna fan.
Oh, yeah.
Puzzles. Dude, it's VHS cassette tapes. Like, it's everything. I'm not joking when I said Dick Tracy was my thing, but yeah. So trading cards.
Oh man, you even got a wax
I had the
pack.
trading. Yeah.
So I've got the complete set of cards, but then I've got a box of the wax cards.
Hell yeah, man. Oh,
Jeez.
dude, that's a nice collection, man.
Yeah,
Dude,
it is. I think you like Dick Tracy.
I told you I like Dick Tracy. Like, it's not a joke.
That's crazy. That's freaking awesome, dude. I love it.
That's fucking fantastic, man.
Yeah,
Thank you
dude.
for
And what's
sharing,
really
man.
cool
Yeah.
is in Columbus, Ohio, there is a cartoon museum called the Billy Ireland Museum. It's connected with Ohio State University. They have Chester Gould's writing desk, drawing desk in the. So like, because it displays like all the Calvin and Hobbes comics and everything, from comic cartoon strips. But they have his desk and it's this wood desk and it's all burned on the side, and it says that like he would light that side of his desk on fire so it would dry the black ink on the strips faster because he used so much black ink. And so like you see this drawing desk and it's just charred on one side. It's so cool. So like as I stumbled upon it this last year, because they were doing something, Jeff Smith, who's from Columbus, who did Bone. He was doing a talk there, and I was like, holy cow, that is so freaking cool. But yeah, I love Dick Tracy. Like, it's a weird obsession, I know, but I love it.
No, I mean, it's fucking
No,
awesome.
dude. Look behind me. I know about weird obsession.
Right?
And you got every action figure except for the blank you said?
Yeah, so we've got, you can see there's Mumbles, Rodent, Flat Top has a broken leg, so he's falling down, Lips manless, Prune Face, Sam Catchum, Shoulders, Influence,
Wow.
Big Boy Steve the Tramp, and then Dick Tracy on card. Unpunched.
That's dope.
Wow. Impresavio.
That's dope. Well, I'm not going to follow that up, so I'm going to leave it to Jelani.
He knew it.
Show us what you've got.
Okay. Well, I got a lot of fun stuff too. I'll start off with the easy stuff. I got a comic signed by Kevin Eastman and a sketch on mine as well. This is the Huntsville cover that he made when he was at the Space and Rocket Center. The Turtles at the Space and Rocket Center. It's pretty awesome. Super excited I got that one. And then I got my Fugitoid signed and sketched upon one of his first works. And I really enjoyed this. He was such a cool guy. He's really relatable. He didn't seem like he didn't want to be there. You know, a lot of people have that feeling that they didn't want to be there. He's just one of those dudes. This is not. And the fact the man owns a tank, he's got much love for me. So then after that, of course, I'll go to my expensive thing I didn't think I'd pay this much to get, but I got this signed by Kane. It is his Ultimate figure, signed by he, graded. I've never graded a figure before, but it's pretty cool. It came with the certification card at the back too, but he was awesome. Like I said, I was really glad I got this. And then I guess I'll go to my other fun stuff. I got this Michelangelo, Super 7 Michelangelo from the show. He completes my collection of Super 7 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think Shredder would be the final thing, but he's my last turtle I need to get. And I also got
Shredder's not a turtle.
He's the last turtle figure I need to get. And also, of course, April O'Neil.
Nice.
She's pretty cool. I gave her GAT. I love how these Super 7 figures come with like the modernized versions and the old school stuff. So he has an old school head and the old school weapons that are on that little rack, the little brown rack. It's pretty cool. And then finally, the last day of the show, the pain in my ass, the thing I'll be eating like bologna sandwiches for the next 20 years, is Mumra, the Ever-Living.
That's dope.
And I'm super happy I got this bad boy because it's the only time I've ever seen it. There are other Super 7s Mumra figures, but this one takes the cake. I'm waiting on Chitara. I've been waiting for ages for Chitara, but Mumra will do for now. But yeah, I forgot. No, I mean, this is gorgeous, but I forgot my last thing. The first thing I bought at the con. And this is my creature from the Black Lagoon.
Ooh.
Forgot about that bad boy. He glows in the dark. And he glows in the dark pretty decently. But one of my favorite Marvel. My favorite Universal monsters. He's pretty freaking cool. So yeah, that's all my show and tell.
Nice. Nice.
Super excited.
Wrapping it up will be me. First show and tell. Let me show you what I got. There's my Dick Tracy comic book collection. It's really small. It's just these 4 issues. But like we talked about earlier, Mike Allred wrote this and inked it over Rich Tomaso's pencils, Laura Allred colors. This is a real fun, modern Dick Tracy series. So you should definitely check that out. Now that all my comics are in order, I could find that very easily. When I was at the con, we had Nick from Comic Culture come and see us. This was the second year in a row that he came to see us. He gave me a Nick Dragata signed copy of Ghost Cage #1. He just gave this to me. So that's super cool. So thank you, Nick from Comic Culture. Here's my con purchases. Actually, before we get to my con purchases, it's my Dick Tracy action figure collection. I have the accessories for these, but I couldn't. They're in a bag with a bunch of others. But there's Dick Tracy.
Yes.
It always bothered me when I was a kid that he didn't come with a coat.
Right?
Yeah.
Whatever. That's the brow, right?
Yep.
So there's the brow. There's Big Boy Caprice. Look at that fucking perfect face sculpt on that, man. There is, speaking of characters that were barely in the film, right? The Tramp. Steve the Tramp, is it?
Yep. Steve the Tramp.
And then, was that Big Lips?
Lips Man?
I had him.
Yeah, Lips.
Manlin. I had him.
Yeah. And he comes with the cement feet, which is really, really freaking dope. All right. At the con, I got this from our good buddy Chris from Super Awesome Comics.
Cool.
Yeah. Got that Hawkman on card. Everybody's showing their Kevin Eastman shit off. So I got my Thing cover by Kevin Eastman signed, which Thing's one of my favorite characters. So had to get that. I have the TMNT Artisan Edition. It's the original, like, layouts, breakdowns, inked art, and then duotone for the first issue. And Kevin did that for me in it.
I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Yeah.
The TMT craze did not end there. I got me a Rat King finally.
Yes.
He's exceptionally gross.
Finally got me a Rocksteady. And I got one more thing, but hold on a second. Just hold on a second.
I thought he was going to do the overhard bit. I was like, Brian's not here.
Hey, Delaney.
Yeah, what's up?
You know what series this Robin figure is from?
That's the DC superheroes from Toy Biz. No, wait, that's Karate Chop. No, does he Karate Chop?
No, he doesn't.
Does he not?
Yeah, I thought he did.
Oh no, okay.
I think he originally had like a.
Yeah, that's DC.
Karate Chop has a button in the back.
Working.
Yeah,
yeah,
there's a button in the back. I thought, okay.
There's no button on the back, and Robbie was saying that you squeeze the legs on one of.
Yeah,
ones, but
you can squeeze the legs on some for the Karate Chop.
This one doesn't have either of those. So.
Okay, but it's supposed to be DC Heroes. That's Toy Biz. What the crap? You got it? You didn't get it? Of course you did. I was gone for the rest of that day. You got it.
Is a TMNT sewer play set complete.
That's nuts.
Working.
I can't believe you got it.
Complete working. So complete. It comes with, I don't have the box, but the instruction manual and the joke book. And I got it for a steal. So I have now a dream come true. This is my first feat of strength of 2022, I think.
Awesome.
I got the TMNT Vintage 1989 sewer play set complete. Station.
Did you read the joke book?
No, let's take a look at it.
That should be like a bit like you read one joke from the book, like every time.
Each time you do a video.
Some of it's trivia. And then some are jokes. Okay.
That's not jokes.
How do you keep a stinky mutant from smelling? Hold his nose.
Oh my gosh.
It
All right.
subverts our expectations.
All right. And with that, we're ending the show. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Jelani, thank you for being here, bro.
Yeah, glad to be here, man. Dick Tracy was a favorite. So I'm glad I'm here to talk about it like usual. I'm glad to talk to you guys about stuff and things.
Absolutely. Yep. Bearded, thank you so much for being here, man. Plug your channel. What you got coming on?
Man, thanks for having me. So I just dropped an interview with Leland Berg, who's doing a Kickstarter called Capsules. Really cool book dealing with mental health aspect. It's in the last run of Kickstarter. My channel is going to be I'm not going to do 2 other videos this week. I'm going to take a little break, but I'll have a video next week just because I'm out of town this week. So next Monday, I'm dropping my interview with Tony Isabella, who's the creator of Black Lightning. So that was fun to talk with him about that. So I do a lot of creator interviews every Monday. Talk to old creators, new creators, Kickstarter creators, current creators. And then I do random stuff on Wednesdays, whatever I feel like it. And on Fridays, I do a game show with my wife called Name That Character, where we just quiz each other on stupid stuff and we just have fun with it. So if you like that type of things, come check it out on my channel, Bearded Comic Bro. So
Absolutely. Brooks, thank you for being here, man. You got any very profound final thoughts?
I don't. I really don't. But I was glad to be here, you know. Good to revisit old Dick Tracy, you know.
Yeah.
Stir up some childhood memories.
You know it. My only final thought is eat more Spam.